Quantum Leap Season 2 is at an end, and we've just had aired the final 2 episodes. Do we go out in a blaze of glory? Let's find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and thank you for joining me on this journey first and foremost through seasons 1 and 2 of Quantum Leap. This is a 2-part review. I'm going to review both parts in this one episode here. Full disclosure, I've just sat and watched As the World Burns, the first of these 2 finale episodes, but I haven't watched the actual finale yet. I thought I'd come and talk about this one, then go back and watch that one, so I'm not affected by the second one whilst talking about this one, if that makes sense. So As the World Burns, 1974, and Ben leaps into the body of a Baltimore fire captain who's inside this building because there's a fire that he has to put out, that this young boy has inadvertently created, shall we say, by creating his own little sort of computery type thing. There's a individual on the floor unconscious who is okay, and Ben asks the boy where his mother is. The mother comes in, lo and behold, it's Hannah. Yes, Ben's sort of timely lover, shall we say. Obviously, as we know from the last episode, Hannah lost her husband. He's passed away. Ben wrote the letter about the problem with his heart. That got rectified, only for him to then go and pass away in a car crash. So he's there, he's with Hannah. They're in this building, big skyscraper, quite high up, and he doesn't know why he's there. He doesn't know the reason he's there until another fire breaks out on a few floors below, about 8 floors below, and this kind of traps their exit from the building. And it turns out that Ben is actually there to save some individuals in the building, some construction workers, and himself. In the original timeline, the captain who he's embodied passes away in this fire, so he's there to do that. But as this occurs, obviously he has to get Jeffrey, Hannah's son, and Hannah to safety out of this building. But as things progress, things become far worse in the building, fire-wise. Hannah gets trapped under some rubble, and her son, who has escaped the building, decides to come back into the building. He wants to get some of his father's belongings. So Ben has to leave Hannah and make a choice. Do I rescue Hannah or do I rescue Jeffrey? The choice obviously is Jeffrey. He's the younger of the 2. But Hannah's left there with Addison. And while she's left there with Addison, she writes a code on into the dust on the floor. And this is the code that Ian has been looking for so long. The code that they've had to bring Ben back. This is actually Hannah's work, and she gives them the final piece of the puzzle to enable to bring Ben back. But as it turns out, it's not a case of actually bringing Ben back. It's a case of swapping him out with someone else. Ernie Hudson's character, Magic, obviously, as we know at the end of the last episode, he has resigned. He is in this episode, but we kind of see him leave the Quantum Leap project. And at the very end, all said and done, Hannah is safe, Jeffrey's safe, but there's a little bit of mystery surrounding Jeffrey because he finds a letter. He finds the letter about that Ben has written to try and save his father in his dad's belongings. So what does this lead to? I don't know. I'm not that good at looking forward, okay? So I can't make any assumptions there. But Hannah's safe. It seems like this is their last coming together. Hannah leads them to believe, leads Ben to believe that this is the last time that they will meet, this sort of a thing. But is it? I don't know. Will she pop up in that final episode for some reason? So anyway, so this episode kind of ends there in the past. Ben leaps out, and for one of the first times we actually see the leapee after the effects of having Ben in their body. Rubbing his head, saying, "Oh, where am I?" This sort of thing, and Hannah tells him that he's hit his head and all this sort of stuff. So that's kind of nice to see. Gideon Ridge is back at the very end of this episode. They realise they need to save Ben. They realise what they need to do to save Ben. Only Quantum Leap project. There's some individuals come in fatigues with machine guns. These are kind of like private security army kind of individuals that are working for Gideon Ridge. He stepped in. He's taken control of Quantum Leap now. He knows, they tell him that they can get Ben back. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about this stuff, and he throws Addison, Ian, everyone else et al. Out of Quantum Leap. You're done. You're fired. You're not in control of this anymore. And we kind of end up there. So again, this is a great episode. This season has ramped up towards the end. Last episode was great. This episode was really good. It's quite emotional. It's powerful. It's got some good acting in it as well. Especially, what's his face? His name eludes me. The kid who plays Ben. He had some good moments on the ledge, where he has to drop down the ledge and then tell the boy to jump down, this sort of thing. There's some strong character moments in this episode, and this is what this series does well when it does it well. I know that there's a lot of episodes that are throwaway and you think a humdrum and just you know what I mean, but when this series does good, it does good. And the last episode and this episode, this is the kind of thing that it should have delivered all the time to ensure its audience, to ensure a returning audience, and to ensure a season 3. But yeah, a fantastic episode. Really enjoyed it. Now I'm going to step away again now, and I'll be back momentarily for you, but probably about an hour for me, because I'm going to go and watch that finale and give you my thoughts on that. And where do we stand after that? Will we get season 3? We'll talk about it at the end. So see you in a few minutes, a few seconds. Just like a leap itself, time hasn't passed for you, but it has for me. Against Time, the finale. Now, I suspected that Jeffrey was Gideon Ridge. That goes without saying, really. I don't know why I didn't say it before. I wanted to see how it played out. So here we are. We're now 2 years later, 1976, and Ben leaps into the body of a stock car racer. He's actually there to prevent the father of this stock car racer from having a heart attack and saving him. But that's not the story of the episode. It's not about that leap. Obviously, Gideon Ridge has taken control of Quantum Leap, and he goes into the past in the imaging chamber, and he confronts Ben, where he reveals to Ben who he really is, that being Jeffrey, and the reasons why he's doing what he is doing and why he has grown into the bitter person that he is. We come to learn that he has earned his money through the advice that Ben had given to Hannah in the previous episode with regards to stocks and that's how he's amassed his fortune. But he's built up his life knowing about Quantum Leap because he found he didn't find the letter in the past, but he saw a fight between his mum and dad because of this letter. The letter talking about Ben, his father not understanding who Ben was. So from a child's perspective, it looked like his mum had been cheating, shall we say. And this is the night that his father went out in a rage, got in his car and ended up having a crash. And so Jeffrey from this age has harboured a hatred towards Ben, towards this time traveller, and done everything in his power, his intellect and the money that he amassed to worm his way into Quantum Leap, shall we say, so that he can take over from Ben as the Leaper and inflict change within the universe, within the world, within time, change little things here and there, little nuggets to get the world the way that he wants it for his own devious purposes. So Ben in the past, they come to realise that they're only about 20 minutes drive away, luckily, from where Hannah is now living with Jeffrey, and he's got to make his way over there because Jeffrey's about to make a presentation of this computer that he's created, this is what sets him on his path to becoming a billionaire, basically, by selling this idea. And they come to realise if they go over there and they destroy this computer, then this will inflict change in everything, and they'll affect a butterfly effect cause essentially, and stop things from happening in the future with Gideon. Now, in the present day stuff, obviously our main cast have been sacked from Quantum Leap, shall we say, for want of a better term. Only Ernie Hudson, Magic, pops back up, and this time he's brought Janice with him. And they open up her imaging chamber to send Addison back into the past to work with Ben on changing things. And this is where they go after the young Gideon, Jeffrey, to destroy the computer. They go there to destroy it. Only Ben, when he gets there, he decides, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to destroy the computer. It's the wrong thing to do. So he's confronted by young Jeffrey, and he talks to him, and he takes him back to the NASCAR race place where they both help to initiate, give life back to this fella that's had the heart attack, the father of the person that Ben slept into. So yeah, and we have that. But so change does happen. A butterfly effect does take place. We see what's her face get killed. Gosh, what's the character? My mind has drawn a blank. There's so much going on in my mind. Anyway, you know who I mean. The individual who gets shot. How can I forget the character's name? Wow. Anyway, I was on a roll then until that point, and my old age is not. Anyway, so they affect a butterfly effect. That doesn't happen, and Gideon never takes over Quantum Leap, and everything has changed completely. No one remembers the old timeline with the exception of Addison and Ben, because they were kind of secure in where they are. Addison's safe in the imaging chamber, so the butterfly effect didn't affect her, so she has the memory of that. Now, with the code that they're given by Hannah, they want to get Ben home, so Addison decides to step into the Quantum Leap accelerator. This was my job originally, so she steps in, she does leap, only Ben doesn't come home. Ben doesn't come. We only see this on the leaper's side in the past, which looks like could be set during the war or something. And she's there, and Ben's there. And they're reunited in the past. Take away from that what you will. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But fantastic episode. Again, the stakes were high. It was very well paced, very well written. There was nothing in there that just subtracted from the main story. And a great finale. I mean, it all ramped up. Everything fell into place. The Hannah story over this season has worked out nicely. It really has. The Gideon stuff and how little changes in the past can affect these changes in the future. The knock-on effect of him leaping and Jeffrey going on the course to become Gideon and all that. It all plays into that kind of thing. And should we or shouldn't we be mucking around with time travel? Because we make these changes to people. But as a finale, I certainly feel that the makers of this show, they obviously don't know whether they are getting a season 3, and they've wanted to put in place a finale for this episode. So if this show doesn't come back, it can close off where it is. You can believe if you want that Addison and Ben stay in the past together, or are they leaping together? That's left open, but there's certainly a sense of closure to the whole proceedings. Obviously, the show is in a different place. If they want to move forward with a season 3, they can do that very easily. But if this is it, it's a nice ending. It's a beautiful ending to the show. Obviously, we probably don't end the way that people wanted it to end or anything like this. Unfortunately, obviously, Janice and Beth are in this episode, but this season has been light on talking about Scott Bakula, Sam Beckett and that sort of stuff, and rescuing him. That all went out the window with season 1. There is a nice little callback in this episode with some of the original music from that original Quantum Leap series in there when they're talking about Al Calavici, and that's very nice to see and hear. But ultimately, am I satisfied if this show ends here? yes, ultimately I would be satisfied in the sense that it's left me wanting more, and it doesn't feel like it's overstayed its welcome and just dwindled off. You know, it has ended on a high, and for that, for me, the show would be remembered. You know, there has been a lot of ups and downs along the way, and certainly a lot of downs for this the 2 seasons, but the highs have been very high and very memorable as well. You know, and it's these moments that you take away and that you remember. And it's unfortunate if people are still not watching this show and haven't seen, you know, this finale. It was a grand finale. It really was. It had everything there. So yeah, I can't really say anything more than that. But it's been a pleasure watching these and reviewing them. If by any sort of chance a season 3 does come about, then most certainly I will be there to review it, and we watch it and review it. I'll be back for that. If not, it's been a great journey. What more can I say? And thank you to everyone that has stuck with me through this. It's been a pleasure, and just take care of yourselves all, and hopefully we'll meet again somewhere in the future.